Galaxy Rangers, and welcome to my review for Ratchet and Clank. Co-directed by Kevin Monroe and Jericho Cleland, it's co-written by Kevin Monroe, TJ Fixman, and Gary Swallow. It stars James Arnold Taylor, known as the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, David Kaye, and Jim Ward, also featuring the voice talents of Sylvester Stallone, Paul Giamatti, Bella Thorne, and Rosario Dawson, among others. It's about a mechanic who finds a little tiny robot crashing into his planet, and then he finds out about an evil plan to destroy several planets in the galaxy. This mechanic Ratchet, being a fan of an intergalactic superhero team known as the Galaxy Rangers, goes to them to find help and to stop this evil plan from this evildoer. Now, this movie is obviously based on the famous PlayStation video game franchise Ratchet and Clank, going all the way back to PlayStation 1, I think. Don't quote me on that, it might be PlayStation 1 or 2, and there is a new game now for the PS4. Also, this movie starts as a PlayStation original, so I'm guessing PlayStation did really finance this movie to try and get the most money out of it, maybe because they didn't trust that the new video game would be enough by being out there. I gotta tell you, I never played Ratchet and Clank. I know the look of the franchise, I know generally that it's a space adventure with these two characters, Ratchet and Clank, but that's really it. I never play the games. I have always been curious to check them out, but just never got the chance, never bought one single video game of the franchise, so I know nothing about it. So this review will be a simple movie viewer review. Now, Ratchet and Clank really takes a lot of typical sci-fi franchises from movies and television. There are robots in this movie who look a lot like the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. It takes a lot, and I mean a lot, from Star Wars, and I don't mean that in the look of the characters, but in several shots that this movie takes. This movie features a scene that is very, very familiar with a scene from the Star Wars franchise. It's actually a really cool scene, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. What I appreciated most about this movie was two things: the relationship between Ratchet and Clank, and the fact that this really felt like an adventure movie. Ratchet is a really endearing character. You really feel his motivation and his purpose in this movie, how he wants to become a hero, how he's a fan of the Space Rangers, especially Captain Quark, who we'll talk about in a second. Now let's talk about this movie's story before going into the other characters. It's a very standard story. Nothing surprising will happen in this movie, trust me. You can guess every beat of this movie. It's very by the numbers, and I'm guessing it's the story of the game from the PS4. Again, I haven't played it, and this of course is a review with no spoilers. That's what I'm guessing. Also, not any other character really connects to you, only Ratchet, because you understand his backstory and you understand how he likes the other characters, but the other characters never really play enough a part in this movie to make you feel anything for them. You understand that the bad guys are the bad guys, and you understand that the good guys are the good guys, but that's mainly it. The villains in this movie are complete comic relief. They have no gravitas to them, they are not menacing, they are not real villains. They are doing these things in the movie, and you know how it's going to end by the first shot of these villains. There are jokes in this movie, and especially in the villains part, that really do not work. Pop culture references, many setup jokes, and also mainly returning gags that never work, not even the first time, and you never really understand what they are doing there. These villains come and go, they're doing their thing. What happens to them in this movie, you know it's going to happen to them. It really comes to no surprise. They are just two stupid characters that don't work as villains. They would have worked as awesome minions for comic relief, even if the jokes do not work, but as main villains to a movie, they kinda leave you wishing they weren't there as the main villains. Let's talk about the Galaxy Rangers. There are cool characters in this movie. I know I told you you didn't connect to them, but they are cool looking. You see them doing cool things. You understand how Ratchet looks up to them. You understand how they are heroes, and you understand their purpose in this movie and also to this story. You understand their motivations, you understand their relationship, and they actually share almost a deep connection with each other. I'm sure they do it. It's just that the movie didn't do a really good job of making them three-dimensional and have depth. All the other characters besides Ratchet, maybe Clank, and maybe Captain Quark don't really feel as fully developed. They are mainly concepts and they are mainly plot devices to get other characters to do this or that. I enjoyed the character, which I cannot remember the name, I'm sorry, but she was the IT girl in the Galaxy Rangers. I liked this character, I enjoyed the connection with Clank, and I enjoyed that she was by his side all the time, because in that way they didn't play into the cliche of having Clank being the only smart guy on the team and the Rangers just wanting to do action and go into a mission and going to attack the enemy. Captain Quark is a real asshole. There's something in this movie that never quite feels right about him. Everything he does, everything he says, the way he acts around his friends, around his team, this character never really becomes likable. At first you are fascinated by Ratchet's fascination of this character, but then to an audience, it doesn't really connect. Ratchet's character arc in this movie was really interesting. You can see this character grow and have a full arc, becoming more deep of a character, having a full realization as a character in a narrative. But that is everything that's good I can tell you about this movie. The animation, I won't say it's subpar, but it's average and not anything more than that. There are many shots in this movie where something is missing from the screen. There's something missing in a character's body or something missing in the background that was there before, and it really bothers you. I'm going to raise my hand because this might be a spoiler. I'm going to say one thing that's missing in one shot, so if you want to mute this part of the video, please do. I'm going to lower my hand once I get done with this. There's one part in this movie where a character's teeth is completely missing. He has two saber-tooth-like teeth, and in one shot of this movie, one of them is clearly missing. I mean, he just has one tooth on one side of his face. It was really jarring that they didn't correct that. Alright, possible spoiler is over. I hope you turned your volume back up. The main character is really good. I really felt for him. All the voice cast was great, just that the characters themselves didn't really connect as characters in a narrative, and that should have been one of the most important parts of this movie. They could have worked as characters, but they just didn't because the characters themselves were not well written. I'm guessing this was only a promo movie, but having 90 minutes of a promo to your video game is never a good idea. All in all, this is an enjoyable movie. You will not be bored by it. The sense of adventure is real in this movie. It's a movie that is fun. If you catch it on TV, you can watch it and have a good time, a good 90 minutes. And so I am going to give Ratchet & Clank a C+. Are you a fan of the Ratchet & Clank franchise in the video games? Let me know. What do you think about the franchise? Have you played the new video game? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And have you watched the movie? As a player of this franchise, what did you think of the movie compared to the games? And as a non-player of the video games, what did you think of the movie as well? There's links for my Facebook and my Instagram in the description below. Go stalk me on the internet, subscribe to this channel and get updated whenever I upload a video. And share this video. Tell your friends this channel exists, because I'm sure they're going to like it if they like movies and other things geeky. I'll also leave a link to my previous video right here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought of the movie and let me know what you think of video games. Also, my giveaway is still ongoing. You can hashtag Apocalypse Q&A in the comments below and ask your questions. You can ask me anything you want. Doesn't need to be X-Men questions or movie questions. Just ask me anything. You can click right here to watch my Game of Thrones Oathbreaker episode review. And of course, I will see you guys in the next review. Cheers.